basically just the same thing. So now, Mildred, getting back to you, I know the first part that you've mentioned from the 5 ways to get your finances on track is the aspect of budgeting. You've equally talked about the aspect of saving. Let's move to other ways in which we can get our finances on track in the year 2022. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a chance to explain all the 5 ways, and then we are going to ask questions afterwards.
Okay, so we've explained the budget aspect, we've explained the saving, we've also explained the paying down your debts. That's going for your most expensive debts and try and clear those first, and trying your very best to ensure that you pay more than your required installment per month, and being able to negotiate if you see that the situation is difficult for you to restructure your facility, right? So the fourth item is what we say you need to ensure that you know what is sitting on your credit report. Okay? So the credit report is holding information of your credit accounts. Okay? So as an individual, TransUnion maintains this information that is showing your credit accounts, what sort of facilities you have, whether you have credit cards, whether you have a student loan, it will be on that information, on that credit report. The credit report will also show information if you're a director or a shareholder in any institution, as well as your primary information, such as if you're in employment, who your employers are, and your position. Okay? So we advise consumers out there that on a regular basis, do check and see what information is on your credit report. And why is that important? It is to ensure that that information that is held on your credit report is accurate. And why do you want to ensure that it is accurate in the first place? It's the credit report that will help you to access finance. So we've been talking about borrowing, and we're talking about discipline in borrowing. So when you look at your credit report, it will give you an indication how far you can actually go and borrow. It will give you a summary of what you've borrowed and how you've been paying. So it is important to look at your credit reports. And if there are any mistakes on your credit report, you need to ensure that those are corrected, because we give a score, a credit score. And your credit score may disadvantage you in the future if you've had bad records and maybe they were there by mistake. So you may not be able to borrow. And apart from that, we're also seeing that even to get a house on rent, the companies who want to check what your credit score is, getting employment, they want to see what kind of a credit score you have. It's about financial discipline. The fifth item, and I think you raised the question on that, where you talk about overspending, okay? It is important to change your spending habits in these times. It is vital to manage your exposure to credit. Make sure that you pay off the full balance that is owing in any particular month. If you can pay more, as I mentioned earlier, do that. So those are the 5 ways that will help you, avoid feeling the stress of the year and prepare you for future eventualities that are unexpected.
I like something you've said about the 4th point. I watch DSTV and I see this advert pop up on TV where 2 guys are seated and one asks to say they're watching TV, and then there is something that pops up and one asks to say, what is your credit score? And the other one looks at each other. And a lot of people don't even understand what a credit score is. So it's very interesting to hear you talk about this. And I've also heard a lot of adverts on the DSTV that talks about credit score. I know your credit score and import for free, such adverts. I think this is the part where most of us are missing out, knowing your credit score and how it will benefit you if you want to acquire extra resources. Very important. So Yeah, of course, 5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2022 is a topic of discussion, and we are talking to the Chief Executive Officer of TransUnion Zambia, which is, of course, a credit bureau, and that is Mildred Stephenson, who has just been speaking to us on the 5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2022. But in case you've got some questions that you would like to be responded to, you can send through those questions via text or through our Facebook page and other means, so that we can have Mildred to respond to some of those questions. But she's raised some of very important aspects of the 5 ways. Among the 5 ways, the first one is budget. She says it is important for you to budget and spend within your limits. The second one is savings. Always ensure that from whatever resources you are making, you are saving at least something. Make it a habit to serve. Do not exhaust or spend outside what you can earn. And then the third one was on liabilities. If you've got a loan, ensure that you are servicing that loan. She said there's nothing wrong with you having to borrow. You can borrow to invest. In a situation where we now have a tightened interest rate, where the interest rate are a little bit high, there's nothing wrong with borrowing if you are borrowing to invest. Unless maybe you are borrowing to
spend, which says no, don't spend, outside your budget.
And then, of course, Miriam, the fourth point was know what is sitting on your credit report. And the fifth part is change your spending habits. Exactly. Very important. Getting back maybe to Mildred, Miriam, if you've got a question.
And Prudence, before one of the important aspect that she brought out was, spending. Know how you spend your monies. We have a lot of people, you go into a shop, you find that shoe is on discount, and then to you, because it wasn't on your budget, you want to buy, you think it's an opportunity, but hey, don't. If it wasn't on your budget, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Very important.
Exactly.
And that is why it's good to pay yourself. You have a salary for yourself. So that well, I've already spent my salary, so, from the salary you get, pay something to yourself. So if you have something in that box from what you've paid yourself, well, then you can spend.
Okay.
Anyway, maybe moving forward, a lot of people might have questions, with regard on how they would want to start managing their monies in future. How would you advise them?
Okay, so I think that we have quite a lot of information that we could share with them. And I'll just share our contact details. They could call or they could send us an email. So our number is 211-2205-30 or 36 at the end. We also have a website, and you can actually go to our website and you can send your queries there as well. So we are on www.transunionafrica.com/Zambia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you
so much. For everyone who didn't get that, of course, you can contact us, and we will be able to provide you or direct you to the right persons who can respond to some of the queries that you have. Maybe Mildred, before we let you go, what are your concluding remarks?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's been wonderful being on this show, and I think that there are lots more topics that we can talk about. So when you say, how can we advise or help the consumer out there, I think the most important thing is that we need to be free to contact TransUnion, and we have staff that are readily available to talk to you and help you. We are there to serve you. We are an information company, and we hope that in the year we will be able to conduct more educational platforms for the consumer as well as the businesses. So we'll have topics also for businesses. Remember, we are information for good. The information that we provide provides opportunities for individuals and businesses to build themselves in the economy that we are in.
Okay, maybe before I let you go, one question. We know that Zambia, looking at where we are as an economy in terms of our livelihood, or in terms of what people make, we know that the majority of Zambians live hand to mouth. You know, I would go on a market, I'm a sales lady, I sell vegetables, I sell tomatoes. The profit that I make, it's just hand to mouth. For those, how is it that they can save from the little resources that they make?
So, you know, it's interesting when we say that those on the market also
no, that was just an example. That was just an example. We've got a lot who are living on hand to mouth.
Yes, that's a very good example. Many of us are living hand to mouth, and that is because we are not following our concepts of budgeting. Okay? So, firstly, you've got to be disciplined financially, and the only way you can be disciplined is have a budget. So when you say you are living hand to mouth, it's because you are not sitting down and looking at what is your income and what sort of expenses can you afford. Okay? What can you really afford? And avoid buying what you can't afford. Go for the necessities. Don't go for luxuries. So each income is different, and you need to identify that what may be a luxury for you may not be a luxury for me, because our incomes are different. So you need to manage within your income and identify what is necessary for me. Do I have my bag of minimum? Do I have my food? Do I pay my rent? So if I'm going to spend and say, well, I'm going to buy fritters, and then at the end of the day I say, well, I'm just going to buy a small packet of cooking oil, you know, without thinking, do I have to have my vegetables without cooking oil? If I don't have that money, those are the decisions we need to start making. So no matter how small your income is, you should be able to save. So when you sit down at the market every day and you make your sales, if you kept that money, saved it over a period of time, you may not live hand to mouth. So it is important to be financially disciplined. And that is where we miss it all. And it's not just the marketeer, it's many of us. We need to be financially disciplined. Budget.
Very important.
Yes. That would be my advice.
All right,
You seem surprised. I hope you are budgeting.
Oh, no, yeah, no, you've raised a lot of important points, and I hope for everyone who's been watching this program, who's been wondering to say, you know, I make very little money, how is it that it is possible for me to budget? I think they've learned one or two things on how they can budget and how they can serve. So Mildred, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We hope to have you back soon to discuss more of important aspects that are of development to our country.
No, thank you very much for having me on your show, and all the best to you, ladies. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so that has been Mildred Stephenson from the TransUnion Zambia, and of course it is also a credit bureau, and she's talked about a lot of interesting things, and our topic of discussion was 5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2022, and among the 5 things that Mildred has brought out is number 1, budget. Always remember to budget, no matter how much you have. Miriam, always remember to budget. Very important. Do not spend more than what you earn. That was Mildred's advice. Then the second part is saving. No matter how much money you make, always remember to save. She gave an example to say, imagine if you are just selling every day, if you are saving a particular amount of money, by the time the year will come to an end, you have enough money to invest in a bigger business that will give you more money and enable you move from hand to mouth. So the little money that you're making, if you're saving every year, by the time the year will end, you have enough capital to venture into a bigger business. Very important aspect. The third one was about liabilities. If you've got loans that you have to service, always ensure that you service your loan. She did stress to the fact that if you have to borrow for investment, go for it. borrow those resources, invest so that they give you a profit, which will make it easy for you to pay back your debt.
Don't borrow and go and buy things. No, borrow to invest.
Yeah, borrow to invest.
Exactly.
Invest. Then the fourth aspect was know what is sitting on your credit report. What is it that you are sitting on your credit report? Don't just watch DSTV and hear an advert to say, know your credit score and import for free. What is a credit score? These are the questions that we have to be asking ourselves. I think it's time, Miriam, we started moving with your time. So, of course, I'm going to speak as DSTV speaks, know your credit score and import for free. I'm not saying that is in Zambia, that is maybe for South Africa and other countries, but hey, know your credit score. And the fourth part is change your spending habits. If you are in a habit of going in ShopRite to buy certain things, but you see there's this biscuit which is 30 kwacha and is now been reduced to 25 kwacha. You're tempted to say, hey, you're
tempted to buy, and it was not on your budget.
Of course, Mildred again has mentioned, please don't misquote us. Mildred has mentioned to say, have something for yourself. Pay yourself. So if you see this nice biscuit, if you've budgeted for yourself, why not go for it? If you go in a store, you see that nice thing, as long as it's within your budget. So she did mention to say whatever resources you're making, at least always ensure that you give something to yourself. So that was the 5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2022. I hope it is going to help you, help me, and help our beloved ones, even as the year gets to an end. But right about now, Miriam, we are going to take a short break, and we will be back.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2021 is our topic that we are discussing, and we were joined by the Executive Director for TransUnion Zambia, which is a credit bureau. That was Mildred Stevenson. In case you missed that interview, I think you can go to our Facebook page and just peruse through. It was a very important discussion, Miriam.
It will help you, pick 1 or 2 things on how you can manage your finances in the year 2022 so that you get to boost your business. If there were other ways you didn't know that, okay, I need to do this in order to, save a bit, to increase my income, just, catch that live broadcast that we had on Facebook. You'll be able to, find that show. Exactly. So right about now, before we had Mildred on the show, Prudence, we were talking about the ZESCO connection fees. Anyway, this was one of the topic of discussion this week. I must say it was, to me, it was a heated debate, because we had ZESCO saying another thing, and then we had the Energy Regulatory Board, say another thing again. So we'll play a clip that was done by one of our reporters, Ipora Mshara, on ZESCO connection fees, and then we'll get back with our discussion.
Zambia has in the past few months seen an increment in essential commodities such as fuel following the removal of fuel subsidies, which citizens say has had a negative impact on them amidst the high cost of living. While citizens are still anticipating the promised review of electricity tariffs in March 2022 to make them more cost-reflective, Zambia's power utility company ZESCO has made a new announcement which has not sat well with most Zambian citizens. In a statement that has been circulating on social media, the power utility company has made new changes on electricity connection fees from 1,700 kwacha to 6,995 kwacha. Meter separation fees have also been changed from 750 kwacha to 6,000 kwacha. In an interview with Camnet News, ZESCO Senior Corporate Affairs Manager Dr. John Kunda has described the statement as leaked, but says it is true.
The use of cost-reflective, connection fees will continue, meaning that when we come to your property and assess your needs, so the technical specifications that will be assessed and priced, that is the amount that is going to reflect on the quotation, and that is what the client is going to pay. We are no longer going to deflate the figure, because previously we would conduct a technical assessment, bring the figures into our system, and deflate the figure to something lower.
Dr. Kunda says the move has been necessitated by the backlog of debt that the power utility company has from previous subsidies.
You know, that ZESCO has to charge a lower amount and then go and borrow on behalf of the customers. I don't think that is tenable, neither is it sustainable. So we've made a decision because, as you can see now, there is a backlog of about 66,000. And the reason is none. You cannot be subsidizing a service and then go and borrow from the capital market. So the inflow of materials as a result has been constrained. If you're investing in a house worth 200,000 kwacha, and we are asking you to pay 7,000 kwacha for a connection, what percentage is that to the cost of value of your property? So we need to value this property, electricity as a service.
The ZESCO Senior Corporate Affairs Manager has further called for the responsible use of electricity, stating that doing so will result in the commodity being more affordable in the long run. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia's power utility company ZESCO had on Tuesday, 15 February 2022, revealed that it was revising electricity connection and separation of meters. ZESCO Senior Corporate Affairs Manager Dr. John Kunda told Camnet News in an interview that the electricity connection fee will be placed at 6,995 kwacha from 1,700, and that meter separation fees will be placed at 6,000 from 750 kwacha. Dr. Kunda explained that the move was not an increment but a reflection of the true market price, adding that the decision will not be changed as the current way of operation is not sustainable.
The use of cost-reflective connection fees will continue, meaning that when we come to your property and assess your needs, so the technical specifications that will be assessed and priced, that is the amount that is going to reflect on the quotation, and that is what the client is going to pay. We are no longer going to deflate the figure, because previously we would conduct a technical assessment, bring the figures into our system, and deflate the figure to something lower.
In a twist of event, the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has expressed ignorance over ZESCO's intention, saying the ERB board did not receive any application from ZESCO Limited to vary its connection charges as legally required under the Energy Regulation Act No. 12 of 2019 and the Electricity Act No. 11 of 2019. In a statement made available to the media, ERB Manager Public Relations Namukolo Kasumpa says ZESCO is further bound to strict adherence of the governing conditions in the standard license for the supply of electricity. Ms. Kasumpa has informed the public that at the last tariff application in 2019, ZESCO applied for a revision of electricity tariff and connection charges, and that at the time, only tariffs were approved and revised. The application by ZESCO to revise connection charges by 213% were deferred, pending an in-depth study and further consultation by ZESCO. As such, ZESCO was guided to resubmit an application for connection fee once these conditions were met. Further, ERB says for the avoidance of doubt, the Energy Regulation Act under Section 4J vests the power and functions to determine, regulate and review charges and tariffs in the ERB. The Energy Regulation Board has since advised members of the general public to disregard the reported revised charges by ZESCO for electricity connections and separation of meters. The question that then arises is who is to blame for the confusion. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
There you have it. So those are the two clips of what was happening in the, with regard to the connection fees, the ZESCO connection fees. We had the ZESCO saying another thing, and then we had ERB, which is the Energy Regulation Board, saying another thing. But anyway, we at the end of the day, the issue was resolved.
The question, Miriam, it has not yet been resolved. Maybe the question that we are supposed to be asking right now is, who is to blame for the confusion? Because, according to what the Energy Regulation Board yesterday said, they are the only ones who can approve if there is electricity hike. And they did mention also to the fact that ZESCO did apply to hike connection fee and the tariff, of which the tariff was approved. But the other one was not approved by the
They were supposed to
resubmit. And told them to resubmit. So the Energy Regulation Board got surprised to see that ZESCO had announced that they are going to increase the fee. And they were saying and advising members of the general public to say, can you ignore that notification by ZESCO? But we did see the ZESCO corporate affairs manager say, it is what it is and we are not going to change our mind. So it is like two big fish in this case. Is it two big elephants?
Elephants.
In this case,
no, these are big government institutions who are contradicting each other. So it's something of concern.
Who is to blame for the confusion? Is it that there was no proper communication between the two bodies, or is it that maybe someone did not do what they needed to do correctly? In this case, maybe for you, our viewer who's watching out there, what is your contribution with regards to this? Who is really to blame over the confusion that has just emanated between ZESCO and the Energy Regulation Board?
But do you think, don't you think they were supposed to, have a meeting or something, like a discussion?
This is the question that we are asking
now. And then
now.
sit down and then, give us the way forward as the public,
Did the ZESCO board just wake up and do that without having to consult the Energy Regulation Board? Come on, this is a new dawn. What is it that we are doing?
I'm sure they did.
Miriam, this is a new dawn. We can't just have...
Anyway, Prudence, just hold your thought. We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, okay, thank you, madam. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Annie from Choma.
Pardon?
You're calling us from where? Choma. It's good to know that Choma is watching. Please go ahead with your contribution, ma'am.
The contribution is also the question. I also clear when the person has said that when you want to apply for protection, then open the people form, they come and analyze the question or the access. Why do they be sitting like for 20 days for them to come and connect? Meaning we have already done the work in ourselves. It's just a checkbook from the main door to the house.
Okay, we can like literally... Okay, sorry, we were unable to get your question. You are a bit breaking. I don't know if you can move further from your TV set. Are you close to your TV set? Hello? It seems we lost that caller. Can you have another caller, please? I think we lost that caller. Please, you can call through. We didn't really get your question because you were breaking. We couldn't hear you, but please, you can call back and ensure that when you call us back, you tune the volume to your TV set, and of course, you move or you tune the volume or you move away from your TV set
so that we don't get that feedback.
Hello? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. You're through to the program. Oh, it seems we lost that caller as well. Oh no, we are moving towards closing the show. So for anyone who has to call, it has to be now or forever. Hold your thought. No, of course, but Camnet TV is not up to that. We bring you nothing but the best of current affairs, politics, sports, business, and of course other items. And we are here to ensure that all the questions that you have are responded to. So of course we played a clip from yesterday's Energy Regulation Board memo, which was circulating around, or rather statement, where they were urging that they are not aware of ZESCO's announcement that they are going to hike connection fees to 6,000 from where it was, and of course for the ones for meter separation.
It was 1,700 kwacha.
From 1,700 to 6,000. Hey, that's a huge margin increment. Anyway, and of course they did mention to the fact that if you want to have your meter separated, that was 750. It was now being pushed to 6,000. But the Energy Regulation Board in this country that is tasked with the responsibility to regulate anything that has to do with energy. They responded and asked members of the general public to ignore the statement that was issued by ZESCO. So this is a question that we are asking, that such kind of misinformation or confusion, who is it that is to blame? Miriam?
They have two big government institutions, you know, entities rather, giving contradicting statements. You know, who do we believe?
In this case.
In this case, but anyway, moving forward,
we just hope for the best with regards to resolving that issue. We hope that the Energy Regulation Board will
be able to sit down with ZESCO, and then, you know, at the end of the day, we can have that concluding. You know, we
can have certainty in what is happening in our country. We don't want
regards
to
the ZESCO connection fees.
Are living in panic because they don't know what tomorrow will bring.
Imagine, Prudence, this new builder, I'm trying to become a new landlord, and then I'm trying to have my house connected.
What is the budget? I'm budgeting 750. Only to wake up and be told 6,000.
1,700 kwacha, only to wake up and be told that no, it's 600. It's 6,000 kwacha, and then I'm like, boom, my budget. We go back to the budget, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to spend outside within my means.
This is what we've learned today when we were joined by Mildred from the Credit Bureau. Of course, we were looking at of course, 5 ways to get your finances on track in the year 2022. A bit of apology to our viewer. We do know that at the beginning of the interview, we were unable to get Mildred, and apologies for that. But for those who are catching us on other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they were able to have volume, but only for those who are watching on TV set. Next time, we'll do better than what transpired, but apologies for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is where we have to close the program this morning, and hoping you will join us on another edition of the Breakfast Show tomorrow, Saturday, where the doctors will be responding to some of the questions that you have with regards to the topic that they discussed this week. So if you have those burning questions, tune in tomorrow to Camnet TV to have them answered by the guests, and of course other interesting topics that will be discussed tomorrow. So for me, Prudence, this is where we have to close our show. Miriam.
Exactly, Prudence. You know, it's time goes. You know, we want to be on the show, continue speaking, you know, continue informing you, our viewers, on what exactly is happening in our country with regards to the business world and other current affairs issues. But anyway, we have to say bye-byes. We'll catch you next week, Friday, the same time. For me and my colleague Prudence Chota and the rest of our entire production team, it's bye-bye and God bless you.